Hey guys, my name is Anna and this is Isabel, and we're from Speaking Schools Australasia.
In this Conquering Debating video, we'll be talking about burdens. What do debaters mean when they talk about a burden? To keep it simple, a burden is the thing or things a team needs to prove to win a debate. So, if we think of the example topic that we should ban smoking, and say I'm affirmative and Anna's negative, as the affirmative team, it would be my role or responsibility to prove that we should ban smoking.
Whereas, if I was negative, it would be my burden to prove that we should not do this.
Sometimes it can be hard to figure out what your team's burden is. So, in order to do this, there's 2 steps you can follow.
The first way to find out what your team's burden is to take a look at the words of the topic. A lot of the time, the topic makes it pretty clear what each team's burden is. If we think about the example from earlier, Isabel on the affirmative team needed to prove that smoking should be banned, whereas I on the negative team needed to prove that it should not be banned. And we can pretty clearly see here what each team's burden is.
The second way to find out your team's burden is to use just a little bit of common sense and general knowledge. You can ask yourself the question, what would a reasonable person think that I need to prove? If we use the smoking example again, a reasonable person would deduce that the negative team only needs to prove that smoking should remain legal, maybe with some restrictions. They don't need to prove that the government will force people to smoke.
The burden for the affirmative team is usually pretty easy to define, but for the negative team, it can be a little bit more challenging. This is because the negative team's burden is dependent on the position that they decide to take within the debate. For example, if they take the position that there is no problem at all, well then they need to prove that the status quo, or the way that the world is right now, is actually fine and that there is no problem at all. Alternatively, if they take the position that the plan is not going to fix the problem, then they need to prove that this plan will not work. For more information on negative cases and negative positions, check out our negative cases video.
With the smoking example again, there's 2 burdens that the negative team could prove. The first would be that there's not a big enough problem with smoking for the affirmative team to ban it. This would be taking the position that there is no problem. The second burden that they could prove would be that banning smoking wouldn't stop people from smoking. This is taking the position that the model wouldn't fix the problem. So now you know what a burden is, we need to know why they're so important to win a debate. It doesn't matter how good your points are if they don't prove the burden placed on you by the topic.
Having a clear burden is really important because it's going to help your speech and your team's case stay consistent. So, before you do anything else, make sure you figure out your team's burden.
And that's it for this video. We hope we fulfilled our burden to you and taught you something new.
If you feel like you've learned something or if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, see ya!
Bye.